Hello, everybody. It's Ariel Ellis, author and creator of the original Millennial Thought Leadership Series. Our Thought Leadership Series for the original Millennial is specifically focused on the work that millennial leaders and millennial entrepreneurs are doing. So I'm really excited to continue to introduce some amazing millennials to you and to be able to talk about some of the things that we're doing, some of the contributions that we're making in business, as well as some of the impacts that the different ways we're making impact in the community. I want to let you know that since I have taped a series of interviews, the book is complete. So if you're seeing this and the book is already out, great, go get it. If it's not, you can pre-order the book. You will have a series of variety of different levels of content that you can access. Of course, you're accessing this from YouTube. Definitely tune into the podcast. That'll be on the originalmillennial.com in the next couple of weeks. So again, if you're seeing this and the book is already out, feel free to go get it at the originalmillennial.com. So I'm very excited to always, as I say, bring to you some amazing millennials. So I'm super excited to bring to you Mr. Brandon Frame today, specifically because Brandon is kind of a virtual colleague of mine. And I believe we've kind of been watching each other for quite a while and just paying attention to how we move and the contributions that we've been making to business, etc., and the different things that we've been doing. One of the things that I think attracted me to Brandon's profile was the way in which he was merging what original millennials do very, very well. He was merging his profit and his purpose. And it seemed as if, from what I could tell, that his work was kind of one and the same. Brandon Frame is a native of Hartford, Connecticut. He's a graduate of Morehouse College. And his organization, The Black Man Can, has become a great resource for the Black community and society as a whole. His media platform, his website, is seen all across the country and even beyond the United States. And he goes to different cities, and I think he's gone to several cities, and he'll be able to tell you where he's gone to host the Black Man Can Institute. And at that institute, they essentially have a variety of different programs and initiatives that they use to engage with Black youth. Brandon is also the Director of Business Partnerships and Development at High School Inc. in his hometown. He's been named Top 40 Under 40 by the Hartford Business Journal. He's been featured in Jet Magazine. He's been given major awards. And another recent award, I believe I'm going to allow him to share with you, where he was honored by BET. So, Brandon, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. How are you?
I'm awesome. Really happy to be here and to take part in this thought leadership series. I think it's amazing what you're doing, and I am blessed and looking forward to sharing.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. And again, it's certain people that you just kind of feel like, oh yeah, I know them. I know him. So you're definitely one of those folks. If you would start by telling us your story. What's your story?
Oh, my story. My story is I am from Hartford, Connecticut. While growing up, I was, I always had visions that, I could do great things. I think that, as a Black male in America, sometimes you can get bogged down with the negative images. So, I definitely grew up thinking, I might just be a basketball player or maybe be a rapper, but I couldn't rap. I was able to go to Morehouse College, and that's where it was ingrained in me that I could do anything I put my mind to, and I've been pursuing it with impeccable effort ever since.
That's awesome. Talk to us a little bit more, or actually talk about that experience a little bit more, being a student and the type of ways you saw perhaps your generation of millennials deciding what path to go in life. What was that experience for you?
Morehouse is essential to all of that. Like, I think growing up, I was the young person that, I never had a teacher tell me that I couldn't make it or I wouldn't be, or, you're not going to make it in life. I never actually had that. What I did have teachers tell me is that, on my report card, I always said capable of better work. If he applied himself, he could do more, so I had a lot of commentary like that. But by going to Morehouse, by going to Welcome to the House, which happens the first day at Morehouse, I was moved in a way to know that I could accomplish and do anything. And being around other men around me who also aspire to do those things, and all of us to hold each other accountable and to push forward, turn stumbling blocks into stepping stones. That was, I can't even really quantify, I can't quantify the impact that had on me to push forward and persevere and pursue my degree, and then also everything that I've been able to attempt to accomplish afterwards.
Right. Talk about, so just for folks who may or may not know, Morehouse is a historically Black college, an all-male institution in Atlanta, Georgia. I can imagine that experience probably gave you some inspiration for the work that you do now with your organization. Talk about your organization and perhaps where the inspiration to start the organization came from.
It started when I was at Morehouse, and while I was at Morehouse, I took some young men. I started doing mentoring on the east side of Atlanta, and while I was on the east side of Atlanta, I took boys to Morehouse, and we had a great time. They got to walk around campus and see all these men and all the different amazing things that they do. And Morehouse is a microcosm of Black men in America. So you have, you got guys suited and booted, and you got guys sagging their pants and that's just what it is. And so, they took all that in, had a great time. And then when we did our feedback afterwards, one of the young men said, the only other place that I could picture like Morehouse is prison. And that really moved me in a lot of ways to think that the only other place that he could think of that had 2,800 men was prison. I said, M.K. Asante, he's one of my favorite scholars, and he says, once you make an observation, you have an obligation. And so I made the observation that boys and men of color need to have their stories told, and they need to see positive images of themselves. And so, therefore, I have an obligation to create it, and that's what I did.
Mm-hmm. Talk about the initiatives and the programs that you have and the impact that you feel or that that you're making with the organization.
It's been amazing what we've been able to do from starting a blog. So April of 2010, I started a blog called The Black Man Can, and since then we've been able to go to we've had millions of visitors to the site. We've interviewed over 400 men. We have done 25 institutes for young men of color, which is impacting over 2,000 boys in 11 different states and 19 different cities. We have been able to build a volunteer network of over 200 men who have taken time out of their days, their Saturdays, their Fridays, their Thursdays to mentor young boys. We have put journals in the hands of thousands of boys. The Black Man Can Journal, Define Yourself, Redefine the World, a guided journal for boys and men of color, it helps boys develop critical consciousness, develop positive self-identity through written reflection, all these different things. That impact is so huge and vast, and I think even too the impact that it's made on grown men, seeing them being able to build brotherhood amongst each other as well. All these different things have taken place because of the Black Man Can, and then overall just promoting a positive Black male image on a daily basis has been extremely powerful.
Wow. So considering some of the things that we've seen recently, I think, and culturally related to Black men and maybe the Black community overall, how have you maybe noticed your work being even more profound as a result of those things?
That's a great question.
Has it perhaps inspired you more, or do you see maybe more of an appreciation for your work for with the men that pour into the boys and the men that volunteer with your organization, or even with the boys themselves or the parents? Are you perhaps seeing a different kind of response as it
We
relates
see.
to times, you know?
I think we've seen some amazing, response. I just think about like this past weekend, we did an institute in Syracuse. It's like the third time we went to Syracuse, and I think like the best way to try to tell is like through stories sometimes. And so I got an email this week from a mom, and it said that my son has come to the Black Man Institute for 3 years now, and he always comes back with new stories about the things that he's heard. And he holds his ties in a special place. They have their own special drawer with these, and he always talks about, these are my Black man can ties. And I think, just hearing a story like that, and other stories that we have, I think we're definitely, making a profound impact with the whole notion of providing a positive Black male image.
Talk about the neckties. You mentioned the boy and he has a drawer with the ties. Tell us about how that works with your organization.
So yeah, we do this event called 1,000 Ties every single year, where our goal is to raise 1,000 ties. People come out and enjoy past hors d'oeuvres, open dessert bar, and we take in ties. And these are the ties that boys get at all the different locations that we go to. And while they're at the institute, they get their necktie, and we teach them how to tie a single Windsor or double Windsor knot. You'd actually be pretty surprised that usually at least half the boys in the room, everywhere we go, there hasn't been a place yet so far where we went and at least half the room didn't know how to tie a tie. So I think, just having that aspect to the institute of going around and teaching them how to tie ties, is just that alone. Any male will tell you it's like a step in the right direction in terms of manhood. It's just one of those passages, like, you feel more like a man when you know how to tie a tie, point blank period. There's no, it's a feeling. You can't really describe it, but that is the truth.
Yeah, that's interesting, and it's good that you tie, no pun intended, that you tied in the element of one of the things that, like you said, is associated with manhood, along with any other type of curriculum, essentially, that you would have through your initiatives. Talk about, so, millennials, for the most part, especially original millennials, we have our social venture. We're social entrepreneurs for the most part, but some of us also have, a 9-to-5 full-time job. How do you balance that? How do you balance having a purposeful full-time job as well as a very purposeful social venture that you run as an entrepreneur?
It really it comes all the way down to effective time management. Like at this point now, I'll give you a synopsis of my day. Like I'm usually up by 4:45, 5 o'clock to go to the gym. I found for me, going to the gym at the beginning of the day has been great. It's nice sometimes at the end of the day, but I try to start my day with the gym. So I go get about a 50-minute workout. And then from there, I am going back home, shower, change, everything like that, at work by 8:30 or so. And then it's really just, I have my to-do list, and then I'm just mapping out the day to get everything done. And like in a given day, I might start doing something with High School Inc., and then the next thing I'm doing something with Black Man Can, and then next thing I'm doing something with Building Minds Forever, and then after that I'm doing something with Falling Black in Love, but then right back at High School Inc., doing something with the kids. So, it's really just about time management and, getting your priority list together, seeing what's most pressing on the docket that needs to get done, completing it thoroughly, and then moving forward to the next task. But it's really just about, I think, when Beyonce dropped her CD, that one she dropped at midnight, and people were like, yo, she made a whole CD with videos, and then dropped that joint. Like, that's dope, But like one of the memes that I saw is like, you have the same 24 hours in a day that Beyonce has. So granted, she might have a team and some assistants and all that too, but you still got the same 24 hours. So it's really, putting all together, and then also understanding who you can collaborate with, partner with, to also get your stuff done, because we all have all these different ideas and different things you want to execute, and then figure out like what's the way to streamline all that so that you create one platform that can boost all of your different initiatives in one way. I think, when you're trying to do all these individual things, especially when it's just you starting out, it's pretty tough. You have to figure out how to do one platform that can boost everything. And so I've kind of been able to do that using one particular platform, like it might be the Black Man Can or High School Link. And it's two platforms, but they are able to boost some of the other things that I'm doing.
Yeah. One of the slights that millennials get is that we try to do too much too soon, too fast, or too often, etc. We often get slammed for having too many irons in the fire. But I think that one of the great aspects of who we are as our generation is that we do know how to multitask to a certain extent in being strategic in how we organize things, because majority of the things that we feel are important to us, we're passionate about. We don't really waste our time doing things that we're not passionate about. So that's really important to know and to understand. Talk a little bit about some of the challenges you face. I mean, with everything that you have going on, what are some of the challenges that you think you face as a millennial who is in leadership?
I think one of the things you face is dealing with criticism and not taking it to heart. That's one thing you deal with, and I think also just coming up with the strategy and then building the team is also a thing that you can struggle with. A lot of times you want to build the team and then put the strategy, but the team, that doesn't mean all your teammates fit the strategy. So you have to create the strategy. So here's what you want to do. Here's here's the plan. Here's kind of what you're trying to execute. And then the team around build a team around the strategy, as opposed to the other way. I think a millennial leadership, a lot of times you try to build a team like, oh, I got the dope team, the squad up, and then you try to execute, but then you'll find that all those people aren't able to execute the way they need to because they don't really fit the strategy now that you've identified what the strategy is to execute. So you really have to think about what that strategy is and then build a team around it.
What do you think have been some of the highlights of what you've been able to accomplish beyond, just kind of changing lives, consistently, or being a part of the lives of the young men that you work with? What do you feel are some of the highlights for you being such a young leader in the space that you're in right now?
The main highlight, so many highlights. I think the amount of people that I've been able to meet, just the amount of men and women that I've been able to meet because of the Black Man Can. We know each other, through social media, but if I wasn't really doing the Black Man Can, I probably wouldn't be on social media to connect with you. So I'm connected with so many different people by creating the Black Man Can, which has probably been truly impactful. All the men, I've been to weddings, I've been to the conversations that I've had, the building of brotherhood that has taken place amongst men throughout the country has been, actually throughout the world, has been absolutely powerful, because that's like a huge highlight for me. When the amount of emails that I have from moms and grandmothers, aunts and uncles and dads about the impact that the Institute has had on the lives of their grandson, their nephew, their son, is just a highlight right there. It just allows me to sit back and use it as a reminder to continue to do the work, especially when in this day and age, you can get very overwhelmed and discouraged for a variety of different reasons. And then as you're chasing this journey of success, and you have to respect the process, but in the process of respecting the process, you can also find yourself in very depressed and downtrodden moods. And so you have to create different things that allow for self-care to take place so that you can push through and persevere.
And how do you do that? What are some of those things specifically for you? I know we talked a while ago and you were kind of in a different place, right? I
was definitely, I was in a very different place. God's grace is amazing. What I do, the main thing I do for self-care, aside from, so there's a few things that I'll share. One thing I do, I have like a 5-game set to the Brooklyn Nets. I live in Hartford, Connecticut. So like I go down to 5 games a year. That's 2 hours I get to spend in my car where, I'm kind of just thinking in my head, thinking about ideas, thinking about things, then go enjoy the game. And then I drive back and I always buy 2 tickets. So I just ask different people to go to the game with me. I don't need no money from you. I don't need nothing. It's really just my opportunity to spend time with people that I care about, or that are friends, and just like, yo, you want to go to the game? Boom, and head out. So that's one thing that I do for self-care that I think people should, look into. Another thing that I do for self-care is I have a happy folder, and in my happy folder is, just about anytime I've been featured in an article, a magazine, anytime I've spoken somewhere, the program, I have all of it. And so it's my happy folder because it's where I can go to become happy, as well as I can look at a program from 4 years ago and then look at a program now and just see how my bio has changed. So there's really no reason for me to stay in this depressed mood or stay downtrodden, because look at the growth that I've made. Like, I'm definitely not the same person I was 4 years ago. I have evidence to prove that. So therefore I need to continue to push on and persevere, because it's all going to, the universe is going to conspire for your success. So creating a happy folder is also another thing that I do for self-care. Those are just 2 things that I definitely do that really help me create balance in self-care.
Yeah. And is your recent honor from BET in that happy folder? Tell us about that.
I gotta get the pictures and stuff, or print off the pictures. But like, it's really dope to see. Like, it's dope right now to honestly go Google myself and then see pictures of me, but some of those pictures are of me on the red carpet. It was really an honor it's always an honor to be honored. And so I appreciate BET for coming up with this next in class concept, and me being selected. I have to thank everybody who took time to vote for me for it, because it was some people who had to vote. So just to be able to be there, experience the red carpet, sit, 3 rows right next to Melissa Harris Perry and Monica and Usher, but I'm there just like they're there, and to be acknowledged on national television, and through, they did this day with Brandon Frame where they followed me around for a day. It just shows some of the work that I do. I think that, again, it was just, this is an honor, and again, it serves as a reminder to continue to do the work. It serves as an example of that God gives us all the tools that we need in order to execute the mission and purpose and why he put us on this earth. And all you have to do is continue to do it, praise his name, and it will all work out, and the blessings will flow in abundance.
That is very true. And I agree with you. And congratulations. That's a huge honor. And it's a huge opportunity to not only kind of enjoy the fruits of your labor, but also an opportunity to expand and increase relationships and network and strengthen your own platform. And kind of segueing a little bit, what do you think have been, I'm sure you may have, a couple of things, but what do you think has been the element of culture that it has influenced you most? As original millennials, or just as millennials in general, we have had technology at our fingertips. We've been influenced by a variety of different pieces of culture. But as original millennials, we typically will have one thing that actually spurs us or directs us into the path that we go to, that particular element of culture. What do you think that has been for you?
So what's the wait? I want to make sure I answer the question right.
Yeah.
What is the one thing that, like, the one thing that moves me, or like
what's the element of culture specifically? So as I was saying, millennials, we've been highly culturally influenced, and we influence culture as well, whether it's music or genre of music, whether it be our spirituality, whether it be food or travel or fashion. What do you think is that main element of culture that is kind of, directed you into what you're doing now?
I would say I'm gonna start with hip hop.
Okay.
Like, there's music, but hip hop is definitely plays a role and the things I do. I mean, I'm a co-founder of the Hip Hop Ed chat on Twitter. MK Asante being one of my favorite scholars, I learned about who he was in hip hop studies class with Dr. Joyce Wilson. So hip hop, and then like even some of the things I'm creating, lyrical lessons and a variety of different things, all tie back to like hip hop and the influence that hip hop has definitely had on my life. And then I think if as an adult, one thing that's had a huge impact on me is travel. I've been fortunate to travel to various countries. I got a few on tap for this year as well. All new, only have returning to one new country, visiting 1, 2, 3, 4 new ones, returning to one I've already been to. And that one I'm returning to, that's going to be the 4th time that I've been to England. So even just to say that, I've been to England 4 times, I can tell you how to take the train in England, you know what I mean? So I think, and going to see these other countries, honestly, what's crazy about it too, with the travel piece is it actually, and I've mostly been to Europe. I'm going to the islands for the first time pretty soon, the Caribbean. How much of an appreciation you gain for being an American? There's African American, everything like that, but I'm cool with being born in America. Especially as a black male, as much as I can criticize America and all the different things that I have to deal with as a black male in this country, through my travel experiences and as I build the black man can, I'm happy, fortunate, and blessed to have been born in America, because I think that some things that I've been able to do, create, and experience wouldn't be possible in other countries. Mm-hmm. We do kind of have a caste system here in the United States, but you can make it out though. You can. I mean, it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but there's some places you go, it's not possible. And I look at where I started. I started from a single parent household in Hartford, Connecticut. And now, I'm definitely not in that position. I started on government assistance. I went from welfare to well off. I think that, and that's possible in this country. That's not possible everywhere else. And as a matter of fact, other places don't even have welfare to be on. So I think travel has influenced the way I move and do things, because it also has given me a greater love for this country and all the things that you can accomplish in this country. Thus, I'm pursuing it with impeccable effort, and travel had an impact on that.
That's awesome. So while we're there, though, you're talking about the specific things, specific elements of culture you think have influenced you. Go back to hip hop, because you said something about the chat that you do.
So Hip Hop Ed is a chat that is on Twitter. It happens every Tuesday at 9:00. It was co-founded between myself and Dr. Christopher Emden, who is a professor at Columbia University. And it's really all about the intersection of hip hop and education. And every Tuesday there's a different topic, whether it's about current events that are taking place, about science and hip hop, about English and hip hop, about just pop culture, about how Black History Month and hip hop intertwine. I mean, Women's History Month is now because it's March. I mean, there's so many different things that we take on. It might be a new album dropping, if Kendrick dropping an album, J. Cole, Jay-Z, anybody big dropping an album. How can educators use this album to work with their students? Because hip hop is such a global phenomenon that we have to pay attention to it and figure out how it can be used in our classrooms to empower students, to uplift students, to educate students on what their purpose is, because that's the fifth element of hip hop is this purpose aspect, and it's not often talked about, but if we focused on it, it will really give kids a sense of true identity. It's almost why sometimes I think religion should be focused on in school. I understand why it's not, because there's so many different aspects to religion and whatnot, but one thing about when you see God, it helps you find your purpose. And so if you're able to do that and find your purpose, then you can pursue your passions with impeccable effort. I'm a full believer in that, but God helps you. Once you understand who he is and his role that he plays in your life, and he's giving you these tools and talents, you can persevere through anything, because you walk by faith and not by sight. But if you don't know that, that's not focused on, especially if you don't get in your household and you don't go to church, it's going to be pretty hard to wrap your head around. I think about, you're going to be, instead of being raised by the cross, you're raised by the stop sign. You're raised by the Glock 9, so then when you raised that way, you see things a little differently, and so taking that purpose, and then even shit with your significant other when you get married, everything, like faith is such a huge aspect to that. Like I do the power couple brunch and Falling Black in Love, you know, that's another, you know, venture that I have. And so it's like, man, like that faith piece is all like you want to stay married, you know, 30, 40, 50 years, God is what's going to keep that together, that walking by faith, that prayer for your spouse when you don't want to pray for them, but you need to, because that's the only way that's going to help this situation. I think all that is so important and needs to be, you know, highlighted and stuff.
You kind of almost answered my next question. My next question was about empowerment. You talked about the empowerment that hip hop gives us, even the empowerment that spirituality gives us. Why do you think it's so important for empowerment to be essential and a priority amongst the millennial generation?
Because self-esteem is real. Ego is real. Love is real. All these different things are like real. So like you need empowerment in order to manifest all these different things. Like you need to be empowered that you can love, you know, and that even after you've been broken, you need to be empowered to have faith, you know, because that's the one thing that's going to always be a constant, because God's not going anywhere. He has a plan. He has a plan for you. You just got to go out and get it. So I think, you know, empowerment, you know, is, you know, essential to our self-esteem. I mean, sometimes it's called self-esteem, and people like it's self-esteem. So you need to get it yourself. You need to have the intrinsic motivation. Life is real. Life comes at you fast. It comes at you very fast.
Yeah.
You like, whoa, you know? And so that's why that empowerment is important. And like life comes at you so fast that it will again make you depressed, it'll make you discouraged and make you overwhelmed. It'll take you to some places that are so dark and so lonely that the thoughts that cross your mind, you're like, I need to go to church, I need to pray, I need to watch a sermon on something, because it takes you to a place that you know you don't need to be. Only the devil took you there. So, you know, you got to have all these things that in place for empowerment practices so that you can be all that you are destined to be.
Yeah, I think within our generation as original millennials, there are a lot of distractions. There are a lot of things for us to pay attention to. There are a lot of things for us to grapple with and just wrap our brain around, whether we are having to respond to those things or not. We're having to process a lot of different things in our society, in the workplace, in our homes, sometimes in our families, within our friend circle. So because of that overwhelming sense of obligation, whether it's through attention or a direct response, it does seem as if sometimes there's a sense of overwhelm. So that empowerment is always critical for us, I think, to try to look for ways to stay, you know, motivated and to stay inspired and to help others be motivated and inspired as well. What do you think makes you an original millennial?
What makes me the original millennial? Brandon Frame is the original millennial because I'm absolutely creative. I think that I'm actually kind of like a genius creative at some time. You know, I think about some of the things I've been able to do and some of the things that I'm working on. I think that I'm absolutely creative. I think that I'm extremely innovative. As a matter of fact, when I was running for Morehouse Business Association president, my tagline was leading with innovation. So, you know, part of being an original millennial is innovation. So I've been doing that since I was like 20 years old. So I'm 28. So I've been innovating almost my whole 20 since I've been 20, so the last 8 years or so. I'm definitely enterprising because to be the original millennial, you have to have that kind of entrepreneurial mindset, that business mindset. So very enterprising. To quote, well, I'm not really quoting him, but, you know, I'm like on the brink of influential. I'm on the brink of influential, you know, so like I look at, you know, some of the platforms that I'm creating, or like even what the Black Man Can has been able to do, like you could say that it's influential. So, you know, I'm working on taking that to the next level. Bold, you know, step out there being Black and being bold, and that leads right into being unapologetic as well. And so with that, I am creative, I'm innovative, enterprising, influential, bold, and unapologetic in all things that I do. Unapologetically Black, as some people like to say, and that makes me the original millennial. And at the end of the day, when I look at all of that, my tagline for my TV show, currently, the name of my show is called Building Minds Forever, which potentially might change when the fall comes, but right now it's called Building Minds Forever. And that's what I try to do. That's the goal is that is like not for me to solve the world's problem, but to also highlight people, places, and things and topics that allow for people to do this exact same thing, which is to build minds forever, which is solving the world's problem, which makes me the original millennial.
Awesome. I love it. Tell us, this is the last question. Of course, I always enjoy chatting with you, but this is the last question. What song defines you as an original millennial?
Oh no! This is a very interesting question because I be hearing so many songs every single day. New songs be dropping. I sat on a panel at the University of Connecticut not too long ago, and they tell us we had to pick a song to come out to, and I'm like, man, I struggled. It was a struggle because because I had so many to choose from. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give you the two songs that I actually used when I came out to, because I think it's a perfect ending to the conversation. If this is the last question, so one, I chose Nas "I Can" because and really like the hook, like I know I can be what I want to be if I work hard at it, so everybody knows that, that hook, and that's how I feel. And then it was like ever, and it went right into wait.
It was like what?
It was like ever, DJ turntable, drop that, then it went to Legend by Drake. And I went to Legend by Drake because I'm so reminded of Martin and Malcolm, yet I'm so reminded of Martin and Malcolm, but so inspired to sketch in my own path. And that's why I picked Legend, because like at the end of the day, like when I want to do work that will transcend time, like when I'm gone, people will still talk about the Black Man Can or the impact that has been made through the work that's being done. And so that will put me into legendary status.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you, Brandon. Is there anything that you want to share with?
No, I'm so happy to be a part of this thought leadership series. I'm looking forward to the book. I'm going to go pre-order my copy. I'm all in support. And you're awesome. You're amazing. Thank you for creating this, and just keep going and pursue impeccable effort. I'm rooting for you. We're all rooting for you, and we stand in your corner.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for being a part of the series, and you just have no idea. It's just been an awesome process. It's been an awesome opportunity to meet so many amazing original millennials who are really making a difference in business and community, and folks who I thought there's got to be more people out here like me who are not just what people say millennials are, who are really, really doing some great things. So thank you for your contribution, Brandon. Thank you for being actually one of the first people I interviewed initially. And thank you for also just consistently doing good work, consistently trying to figure out how you can make a difference. So thank you for doing that. Everybody go to originalmillennial.com. You can order the book. You can also pull up more about Brandon, his profile. He's profiled on the website right now at theoriginalmillennial.com. And you can also go to the blog post. You can get more if you want to rewind this video. If you want to watch it again, you can also get access to the podcast as well. Thank you for tuning in. Also, don't forget to follow the Original Millennial, the OG Millennial on Twitter, and you can find us on Facebook as well. Thank you.